Welcome to the Branding Room Only podcast, where we share career stories, strategies, and lessons learned on how industry leaders and influencers have built their personal brands. Now, let's get started with the show. Hi, everybody. It's Paula Egger, your host of Branding Room Only, and I'm so excited for my conversation today with Naana Badu. She changes lives through style. As an image consultant, speaker, and style coach, Naana helps high-performing women of color in leadership transform their wardrobe from unnoticed to unmissable. Through her styling and image consulting firm, Badu Basics, she teaches how to strategically create personal style that aligns with your personal brand. You know, I love that. And positions you for your next bold career move. So that being said, Naana, welcome to the Branding Room.
Thank you, Paula. Look at that. You need to be an announcer, girl.
One day I'll write a book about what I used to do. But anyway, so excited for this conversation. First of all, I was like, what am I going to wear for this? And everybody who's listening, you need to go check the YouTube so you can see that our outfits are doing all the things right now.
All
because we have to step up the game.
There you go.
Unmissable. So now, what does personal brand mean to you? How do you define it?
I look at personal branding like your own reputation. You know, it's a very much an extension of who you are, your gifts, your talents, and what you want to be known for. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? You know, how do people describe you? How do they talk about you? It's an energy, it's a feeling, it's an experience.
I love
that.
I love that.
That's how I feel about it.
Energy. I like to say your personal brand is your magic.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what is your magic? How would you describe yourself in 3 words or short phrases?
Dynamic, intentional, and I'm funny.
You are funny, because I will say that, so Naana and I were connected on LinkedIn before this, but this is the first time we're actually having a chance to meet. But right. I love people who show their authentic self through their commentary and their posts. And I can say that that's exactly what you do, because I feel like I know you already. And I always love when people tell me that, because I'm like, that means that authenticity is resonating. So I do feel like we go way back.
I love that. Oh, that feels so good. Mm-hmm.
So tell me, do you have a favorite quote or mantra?
You know, right now what's resonating with me is everything aligns for your highest good.
Ooh.
Oh, that always sinks deep when things are, you know, topsy-turvy, stressed, overwhelmed. You're just like, okay, no, everything that's happening is for my highest good and intention. So let me ease up off of the worry breaks.
That's a word. That's a word. And the good part about that quote is it's a word that everybody can hear and incorporate, because we all at some point have something where we're like,
okay. When you're not making sounds, you know something going on.
That part. So tell me, do you have a hype song? And I define hype song 2 ways. One, when they're going to get full Naana in a room, what song is playing in your head? Or if you're having a bad day, what song are you going to play to hype yourself up? And it could be the same song or a different song.
Okay, so hype, I love, there's so many. I'm not a one song hype girl, but genre-wise, you could play anything 90s hip hop. So you could, Janet Jackson is my girl. Like, if you run that Rhythm Nation track, I'm gonna get all the steps. We gonna do choreo.
Okay, so we are best friends then. So I'm
to
make sure we're correct. I'm gonna just go ahead and choose Pleasure Principle, because I just wanted to pull from the Janet.
Listen. The way I want the knee pads,
that's
slide
what I'm saying, on the chair.
Don't get me started.
Awesome. So where did you grow up, and how did that shape you?
So I grew up in Baltimore County. Okay. I am the daughter of Ghanaian immigrants to the United States. My parents came to the U.S. in 1970, and the youngest girl of 2 boys, with my older brothers, I should say youngest of 3. And, you know, I grew up in a community that was mostly white. And in my elementary school, my brother and I were the only Black kids for pre-kindergarten, kindergarten through fourth grade, because I remember the exact moment in fourth grade when another Black girl came in and I said, now hold on.
Yep.
You look like me.
Right.
But it was very interesting because I always had this dual situation happening, right? My parents are West African, but I was born here in the United States. So I'm very much a Black girl. Then also I'm an African girl, but raised in America. So there was always this piece of sometimes feeling like, oh, I'm totally fitting in and in this space, but oh no, I'm different. Like when I go home, like mom's cooking jollof rice and and plantains, all the time. She's gonna make some spaghetti too. But it's like all of the things that people feel excited about now when they think about Ghana and West Africa and dope prints and Afro beats and all those things. Sometimes it's just so ironic to me because I'm like, I had that all the time. Mom was wearing matching print scents all the time. That's just what it was. Like you went to outdoorings and you went to funeral celebrations and that's what it was. It was just the culture. And of course, now as you get older, I have just a deeper appreciation for it. But yeah, I grew up really as a tomboy. Funny enough, people always find that hilarious as a stylist.
Two older brothers.
It makes sense, right?
That'll do it.
Yeah, I was super into sports. And then it was definitely that mix of being one of the only Black kids in school that also definitely allowed me to understand whiteness and Blackness in a different way. And also being like a smart Black kid. Like I was like, oh no, I'm a nerd in a lot of, so like I want to get, like I'm fitting to get straight A's. Like mom and dad expect me to do well. Right. So I don't know what y'all doing, but I ain't doing that. Say no to drugs. I was just like, I was not that kid.
Yes, that resonates for me because I went to boarding school. So that definitely resonates.
You get it.
Understood.
You get it. Yeah. So all those things I think really helped me appreciate being different and uniqueness. And I felt that early on and I embraced it. I liked it in a lot of different ways.
And I think that says a lot about you because so many times people tell their stories about being an other because the majority was whatever X was. And that felt for them marginalizing, that they couldn't sort of step into their individual self and their authentic self. And I know it often takes a while to get there, but even being able to say, well, yes, I'm different and, right, it speaks to strength of character, which I believe, comes from values and then really does shape your brand, right? Like shapes who you are and how you're in space. Awesome. Yeah. So talk to me about your career path. So you've been a management consultant at IBM, at Deloitte, and NYU, you're doing all the things, and now you have your own style consultancy, right? So what inspired all of those transitions? Talk to me about your path there.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, my parents are from Ghana. So there's like one of a few approved professions when you graduate from college, right? Like you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse. And I was like, I'm not doing any of those. And in all actuality, I wanted to be a TV producer. But I went into college and my mom and dad and some other relatives were like, what you gonna do with that? No, you need to change. I was like, I don't know. So I changed over to business, got a business degree, graduated, and was like, what do I do with this marketing degree? But I was like, let me go to these career fairs, get this good job, IBM. Y'all heard of it. You're relieved? Great. So I started working in the corporate space. And from college, I always loved style. Like I was definitely had a reputation for like being dressed up, going to class, like walking around in heels. Like I just love to play in the style space. And so that continued when I went into the workplace. And I think for me, it was a different way of expressing myself and understanding that I'm smart and I can get the work done and I'm driven, but I know I have to stand out in some other way for you to take notice of me, right? Whether it was at the career fair or I'm coming up to you because I want to get on your project or I think you'd be a great mentor or whatever the thing was, right? I was always in my mind like, how am I going to connect with this person? Have I like heard about something they said about their family? Like I was always trying to figure out how I'm going to be different from everybody else. Even though I was one of the only Black folks, women, youngest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I was still like, nah, I need something more. So I think at that, in that sense, I understood what personal branding was, right? Without knowing what the term was.
Right.
So style became one of those things. So while everyone was in, you know, mostly Black and navy suits and such, I was like, I'm going to Express because they got colors.
Shout out Express.
Shout out Express. You know, they just, I mean, and this is the early 2000s, right? And so I was like, oh, I love this color. I love these pink pants. Oh, maybe I could wear a head wrap with this. And so it was like, you know, just like experimenting. And that became a calling card. People would always comment on my style and how energetic it was and how much of a light I was when I would enter the room and how they like just couldn't wait to communicate and engage with me. And so that lent itself well to me building client relationships, right? As a management consultant, that's a super important skill set. And so all of those things came to just be, and it wasn't until I left IBM because burnout. And I decided to go independent and do more contracting. And so I took on a contract at Deloitte, and I had a manager for the first time who was a Black woman. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. And she was phenomenal. She still is. And one day she approached me. She's like, Nana, I think I need your help. And I'm like, tell me what's up. And she's like, well, I'm going for a promotion from manager to senior manager. And she's like, you know, my skills on paper, my work product, all of that is tight. But my wardrobe, like it is making me feel more like a junior associate. I'm in the room with these partners and I'm not feeling at my best. Like, can you help me? I was like, absolutely. So we did this whole what not to wear inspired experience, right? For those of a certain age, know you can reference that show.
Stacey.
Okay. Stacey Clown. I think they're making a comeback too. But anyway, so we did that experience and she got the promotion.
Nice.
And she showed up very consistently in her newly found style. And of course, people took notice, not just of the clothes, but her, right? Like, what's been happening with you? Yep. And she shared, like, I worked with Naana. And from there, that led to referrals and other opportunities. And I said, okay, I want to get into this styling thing. And prior to that, I had been styling, but more on the commercial side of things. So like photo shoots, a musician or TV show. But it was this space of personal styling with a woman who looked just like me, her work. And she really wanted to put her best foot forward to feel confident, elevate in her career, and crush it with her personal brand. And I was like, I like this. This is what I like. And that's when I pivoted in the business and just really started to focus on helping women of color in that space.
I love that. So, I talk about personal branding on all the time. It's literally what I do. And one of the conversation pieces that I find to be challenging because you can't really tell somebody what their style is, right? But you can figure out to get collaboratively what their style is. But I always sort of say, you have to have a style, right? Your brand, there should be something I'm expecting in how you're going to show up. And that is in your work product. And it's also in how you show up. For example, I just said on a conference call just recently, if you ever see me in a suit, something has gone wrong. Something has gone very, very wrong. Call the police. Something doesn't matter, right? And it's because I love a dress and I love a fancy dress. I consider myself my own Barbie doll. I'm like, what can I wear?
That's right. That's right.
the thing about when I tell women, and primarily women and women of color, when we're having conversations, is about having a set standard for themselves, whatever that is. And it's hard because I'm like, you don't have to show up with, colored nails and red lips and big glasses. You don't have to do that, but you do have to have an understanding of my mother used to say, what's your minimum? When you walk out the side, what's your minimum? For her, it was like no ashy elbows, no ashy lips.
Come on, Ma.
Right.
Be
Exactly.
moisturized.
Exactly. And so I wonder, how do you balance being authentic, right? And being a professional in all these different spaces. I'm a lawyer. I work with a lot of lawyers. So when you're talking about the lawyer and being a consultant, there's a lot of overlap. Same thing with finance and what people are expecting you to show up as. But I also love, like what you said, in that you understood the game changer was showing up a little bit different too. What do you tell them? Like what are some of the, I don't know, give us a taste of when they show up. You'd be like, hey, let me see your resume and your outfit.
Right. It's so funny, like what you said at the top of that conversation around it being collaborative, right? Like I'm not coming in and saying, oh, your style is this and your style is that, right? I can give you some frameworks, right? So there's like 7 different fashion styles that we go through and we identify which ones resonate with you the most, right? And then we talk through and create a mood board for you so that we can get really specific around how that translates. So what does that look like in work? What does that look like in weekend, right? What are you doing in your lifestyle, right? What are your career goals? Because I think as I work with women and take them through my process, they begin to see where they're showing up in a way that's either more conformative or traditional, or just simply put, is not them, or was who they were 10 years ago, because the closet don't lie. So when you picking up the clothes and you're like, girl, I done had that for 15 years. Like,
have you looked at, is there a camera in here? Not the closet doesn't lie. Oh, that hurt.
The closet don't lie.
Let me throw in my acid wash jeans real quick. I'll be right back. Wow. Okay. What else? So you think I think that's a really good thing. I remember somebody told me like years ago to shop my own closet, and I was like, why? When all the internet exists. I
was it? No, I'm good. I want something else.
But I do think that's a good framework in terms of thinking about it, because then you might be able to relook at what you already have in a different way too, right?
Yes, 100%. Like step 1 when I work with clients is always getting clarity. We have to get clear and have a clear vision of where your style is now and what you want it to be, right? And so that's why we take you through the exercise of like, what fashion styles resonate with you? Like if I'm throwing a mood board in front of you and I'm giving you these colors or these prints or these textures or these cuts, what hits with you? And you're like, oh, I love this or I hate this. Like you do have likes and dislikes, right? Everybody has preferences of things, right? And I think to your question about, especially in the workplace in certain professions where the standard is very specific, right? As an attorney in the management consulting space, right? That the standard is very specific. You have to come back to what aligns with you, right? Like at the top of this, you asked me 3 words to describe myself. I ask my clients the same thing. I'm like, when you're not in the room, what do you want people to say about you?
Yes.
Like, we're going to have a whole big old conversation about that. And if you tell me, I want them to see me as inviting, endearing, smart, determined, you choose the words, not me. I'm not you. Right? Right? Like you tell me, and I'm going to reflect back to you. And when I reflect back to you and I'm like, well, you said you really wanted to, you just got this promotion and you want to make sure that people see you as sharp, poised, and ready to take on this new role. So when I come into your closet and I see a lot of, soft cardigans and maybe a lot of floral prints, that doesn't translate as sharp, and poised and ready for business. I need sharp, crisp lines. I need some fluid silhouettes. So it's about, I can give you the language and help you translate how a word can go from your personality trait to a piece of clothing or a garment or accessory. But we got to get clear on what the words are. How are we describing ourselves, and how are we connecting that to how we want to show up?
I love that. I'm going to just be like Cowboy Carter. Go. Right. Let me get my hat.
Come on.
I love that because first of all, when I think about personal branding, I always think about strategy. It always has to be reflective and also has to iterate because, when I think about my style transition, me pre-children was a different me. It was a very different me. Now, post-children who don't need me to feed them as a very different.
Come on. More time for me. More time in the morning.
Exactly. And when I think about that, I used to wear a lot of like shift dresses. I'm like, okay, this is easy. Shift dress.
Yeah.
Right. And now I'm like, I wear what I want because they're gone already. So, and also thinking about how our bodies shift too, right? And realizing what your body does. I just think it's such an important piece. And I know you work primarily with women of color. Do you ever work with men?
I do work with men, It's funny because I'll get the boyfriend or the spouse of the woman, right? Like that's a common thing. Yeah. And when I did a lot more styling in the commercial space with like musicians and things, there were a lot of more men in that space too. And men are great because listen, one store, this is we fitting to be done, and they get very clear. I think a lot of times with men and with women as well, like there is a knowledge deficit happening, right? And so the framework that I use to walk through my clients through to help them transition their wardrobe is called the CKC method, and that simply means that clarity plus knowledge builds your confidence in style. And so knowledge is all about like debunking the things that you think are going on with how you're supposed to look, what fits your body and what doesn't, what you can and cannot wear, et cetera, right? And starting to refill you with, so let me break off some gems to you real quick. Like this your body right here can do a whole lot. So if you thought that you were limited because, oh, my bust is so big. Oh, my hips. Oh, my booty. Oh. I'm like, girl, like,
gotta find the right thing.
What? We can find the right things. We can find the right things. So, yeah.
I love that because it also, like, even as somebody who, like, my closet is, I love it very much. I'm looking at it. I have one room with a big closet in it. But even as somebody who sort of thinks about this a lot, I also love the excitement of being able to refine and to be thoughtful and, again, strategic. And I asked the question about men because exactly what you hinted on. I thought to myself, you're going to have all of these women being like, now I'm fly and here go this fool. Right. And so I can imagine, I was imagining that would sort of bring, when we step it up, we shine a big light.
Right. Huge. And that's, and it's so funny because I was just with a client yesterday and, just talking about the fact that like, she's like, before I wasn't so used to the attention like that I get now when people will stop you on the street or I'm just going to get my coffee and someone's like, oh, so beautiful today. You go up to the register and the barista's like, I love your outfit. I love your glasses. Or wow, cute bag. And before you were like, dang, I don't know what I was doing before. Because I wasn't getting no love. I said, you crazy. But it's a very big difference. And it's a shift. And you're right. If you're with your partner, your husband, and they like, okay. Let like you can't just be out here just all getting up. You like, well, come on, boo.
Right, exactly. Let's all step it up.
Let's all step it up.
So when you're talking about this, I'm thinking, if I were to do this, I would really need to trust you, right? Trust that you're going to tell me the truth. Trust that you know what you're doing. How do you build trust with your clients as an image consultant?
Yeah. Trust is huge. It's huge. You know, for me, I do my best to meet my client where they are. Right. And let them know we fitting to go on a journey, right? Like we're going to take some time to get to the place where you open up your closet and you're like, I feel a completely different experience than I did 3-6 months ago. And so I find it's important to understand, like I listen so much. I listen for what's said. I listen and watch and observe body language, right? When you're trying things on, when clients work with me every day, you send me a picture of what you're wearing. Ooh. Because that's the way that I get to see like in real time, right? And when the stances go from shrugs to hand on waist, poise, shoulders back, I'm like, okay, I see what's happening here, right? And so that trust for me starts with the listening and understanding where you are now, and then beginning to introduce things to you. I think it was also important to like let people know, like there's a clear plan. Like this is what we're gonna do. You know, that's the management consultant in me. We gonna break it down, right? I'll be like, we gonna meet today. I'm coming through your closet. Make sure you have A, B, and C done. And this is what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna like
love that.
You are gonna be clear on what's happening next and what the expectation is of you. So you won't feel like, well, I'm not sure and I'm lost and how do I get a hold of you? We're going to be clear how we work together. And and just, you know, I'm a hype girl at heart. Like I women as a whole, like I know what it's like to not feel confident and at your best, or to put a lot of pressure on yourself. I'm totally, you know, high achiever. Like, oh, I didn't get that A. Like, I didn't get that promotion. Oh, I wanted that thing. I didn't get it. Why? And then we'll spiral into the depths of disappointment, right? And will be very hard on myself. And I know what that feeling is like when you're just like, man, or you want to make a change in your career. You know, I wanted to get into the fashion industry and all them doors closed in my face. They didn't want me. They didn't understand my skills as a consultant. How's that going to fit in over here at DKNY or Saks? Like we don't get it. Like, did you go to FIT? Did you go to Parsons? No, I ain't go there, but I'm still, but you can hire me though. Like I got skills.
But I'm cute. Hello.
I'm right. And I'm fly. What's the job? Right. They would not know. You know, so that wreaked havoc on my confidence. Right. And so, I mean, I just love the power of social media, especially LinkedIn, in the space of to hype women, right? Like so many women, like you said, this is the first time we connected. And I was like, oh, well, I know her, right? Ain't met her in life. I was like, oh, I know her from LinkedIn. Oh, she cool. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this. Like, right? And like, just like hyping each other up, I think is so important, because when you're just in your head all the time, the mental chatter, sometimes you can't trust yourself with that. It's so debilitating, and it's going to find everything that's wrong. So when you try on the pants, oh, I gained weight during the pandemic. I can't believe these things don't fit like they used to. I got nothing to wear. I got to get on this plan. I got no time for that. Oh, let me just put these black pants on and get out the door. Right? All of that in 30 seconds. When I'm going to be like, yo, send me a picture. Okay, listen. Yeah, they're not the best, but right now, that's what you got. So this is what we're going to do. Change the top, pop on those earrings. Where's my lipstick? Pop on a little bit of lip. Let's get it going. We're going to make it work, and we're going to make a note, and we'll invest in some more things that's going to like fill in the gaps of what you need.
Love that.
Then they can start to they're like, yeah, okay. I know where I am, but also I know what I'm about to achieve, what I'm striving for. So I think that helps build the trust.
I mean, agree. I'm already sitting here like, yes, exactly that. That is correct. Thank you so much. Now my therapist, Nana. When you were talking about sending the photo of your outfit every day, I had joked with my husband that I'm going to buy a 360, one of those.
Oh, like, that would be fire.
Every single day, I'm just going to be like, it's my outfit of the day. And then he was like, no, you're not going to do that. And I was like, whatever, fine. But
I will not bad if you get it. And I will be here for that post every day. Every day.
All right. So you talked about LinkedIn and you talked about the power of social media and then sort of showing up on your own. What are some of the other ways and things that you've done to build your brand?
Yeah. It's so funny. I think sometimes we're doing stuff and we don't even know we're doing things that are like helpful, right? I would say one big thing is that I brag on myself. Like I talked and owned the fact that like I am a stylist, I'm an image consultant, I'm in this space, I'm good at what I do. And like let me talk to you about it. Right? Because even that is like I'm about to, when you tell somebody, when you say the quiet part out loud, you're like, it's out there, right? And so when I would have exchanges and someone, might be whatever, Target, and someone's like, oh my gosh, I love your hat. Like, oh, thank you so much. This is like, one of my signature pieces. Like, I'm a stylist, so I really understand how important this is. Oh, you're a stylist. Tell me more. And then I can share a little bit more of what I do, et cetera, right? And so I think there was a space where I just said, own it. Like that is the skill, that is a talent, that's a passion. Like own that. Don't shy away and just say, oh, thank you. And just go put your almond milk in the cart and check out. Like know that that's a space and a place for you to share, right? And you don't know what that sharing is going to do. And then just like being intentional about building a relationship. And it's something that is ongoing, right? Especially post-pandemic, because the way sometimes I have to get motivated to go outside, it's a different thing. But I have to tell myself like, nope, Nana, this month you're going to go to at least one networking social activity and you're going to meet somebody you haven't met before and you're going to tell somebody you haven't met before about who you are and what you do. I give myself these little mini challenges. I just, I'd be like, okay, because I could easily just be in this space and just be by myself and do my thing. But then also, I'm intentional though about how I show up. Right. And so because of the power of style, I'm always going to spark a conversation with someone. And more than likely, I'm going to attract them to me. And so it takes some of the legwork out of it. Because someone is always going to come up to me and comment about what I'm wearing. And I take that as a personal invitation to have conversation and connect and learn more about them and to share. And we are building the brand and we are being the brand, right? And so when that happens, listen. Because how you gonna trust me? I say I'm a wardrobe stylist and my game is whack. Wrinkled clothes, like, you know what I'm saying? Makeup on the teeth, like just not it. You'll be like, no, you ain't. Like maybe you will be, but you ain't right now. I ain't gonna keep it going.
I say it all the time. I go, whenever I go to present and speak someplace, I always go, what if I showed up in my pajamas? What would y'all say? But you have to be the brand you want people to absorb from you. You have to show them the things. The same way I talk about using the words, to your point about understanding what you want, you have to live that. It can't, and that intention is such an important part of it. It's why I wanted to talk to you, because to be frank, I see a lot of people not out here doing what they need to do. And by that, I mean, you don't have to be flashy, but you do have to be, you have to have that standard, right? I always go back to what my mother said, like, is this your minimum? And if so, then we need to raise it. Like, what is going on? Because I want to trust you, and how you come to the space is a part of how trust, is built and relationships are built. And when you were talking just now about people coming up to you, I think everybody who knows me knows I love attention. Come at me. I'm an extrovert, right? So I want to connect, and it's supposed to be a part of the discussion. So when people are like, "Oh yeah, I love your glasses," I'm like, "Yeah, you do. Let's go. Let's
go
about that." But style doesn't have to be about flash. It does have to be about, again, I keep coming back to strategy. Like when you were talking, I was like, yes, there's a plan. Because I don't want folks to, see me, be like, well, I can't wear red lipstick or whatever the thing they're thinking. But it's about what their thing is.
Yes,
yeah.
That's so key, so critical. Like I say this to people all the time, like, now, you're not going to finish working with me and try to look like me. I'm like, I got my style. Get your own. It's mine. we finna get yours. Right? Like that's it at the core. And it's definitely a delicate balance of, like I was saying earlier, you meeting someone where they are, right? Where they say, ooh, look at this. You're both wearing red lipstick. You both got these bold glasses. Like, I can't do that, et cetera, et cetera. But if I'm talking to you and you do wear glasses all the time, every day, oh, yes, ma'am. We are going to talk about investing in a statement pair of frames, because that is an easy way to build your personal style, your brand, have a conversation starting piece in your wardrobe, and consistently be that thing. So we're going to figure out what shape is best for you, what color is best for you, which one aligns with your style, etc. But yeah, that's where I'm going to introduce and say, let me give you the lens of an expert in this space. And this is a key accessory that you need to have as your go-to as part of your signature style. This, we fit to do it. So let's go. And then, okay. You start to make some suggestions and you can get on board with it.
I love that. I always say I'm so glad that I'm a woman, because I just feel like guys don't have, like, they got like 3 or 4 pieces that they got to work with, and then that's it. And I'm like, what would I do if I could only wear? I just wouldn't know what to do. But one of the things I love in the evolution of what I've seen, especially post-COVID, where people are more like, look, it is what it is that I see more men being like, well, here's my, I don't know, kente cloth tie, like something different.
Yeah.
Even if they're in the uniform, they're finding their own piece of authenticity in it, which I feel really good about. I just feel like that shift of being like, okay, it's not that serious. We can be who we are, really happened when we realize how quickly life can change for us in the pandemic.
Totally. And there's so much, like, especially for my women of color clients, there's so much permission granting that I'm like, if you needed the permission,
here it is.
Here you go. Like, you don't have to wear a suit every day to work if you work in the C-suite. If you have a C-suite role, a suit is not required for everyday attire for you to feel professional and to feel like a leader and feel worthy and feel respected. It's not, right? And if you feel like you're stepping into that role and that mindset because it adheres to someone else's standard, right? It's like, no, hold on, sis. Because how'd you get to the role? You got to the role because you did something different from everybody else.
Right.
So that's the thing that be irking me. I'm like, if you are a woman in leadership, you got there because you're doing things differently from everybody else. Whether it's a perspective, a thought, anything. It's different, and it's gotten called out so much that people are like, only you can do that thing, or you do that thing the best of everyone else.
Right.
So if you're that unique and distinct, why are you finna show up like everybody else?
Right.
Make it make sense.
Right.
I don't get it.
Right.
So that's when I'm like, no, that same fervor and that same magic, to
Yep.
your point, right? That you use to get the job, climb the career, be successful. We just fitting to just like the door that was closed on the wardrobe. We just been to open that thing up, let them cobwebs out, and we will let that magic just like spill on over, because you don't have to be or look a certain way to command the respect that you want.
Yep. My therapist says, shake off the shoulds. Shake
Oh, I like that. Shake off the shoulds. Therapists always got the good. Just that one line, and you like, that's it? That's the one you're going to have me thinking about for 30 days?
Indeed. So you talked about the sort of thinking about how your brand shifted and where people, there were doors closed to you because of where you hadn't gone. And one of the places you talked about you hadn't gone was FIT, but now you teach there.
See what I'm saying? You see, I got me working. Ba-doop-boop.
Right? I'm here for the story. Tell me, what are some of the things you teach your students about image consulting, styling, that are like some basics when they first went through the door? Like, what are you talking to them about?
Yeah. So at FIT, there is an image consulting certificate. I took the certificate 5 years ago. And it's actually 4 instructors, and we all collectively teach this certificate. It's really great. And one of the big principles we talk about are the ABCDs of image. And the ABCDs are appearance, behavior, communication,
absolutely,
and digital presence.
Yes.
Right? And I tell folks all the time, when you're talking about your image, it's definitely a component of your brand. Like, it is a piece that you want to give thought to and have a plan around how you are going to elevate it oftentimes to where you want it to be. And so appearance, is very straightforward. And that includes your wardrobe, your clothing, your accessories, your beauty, right? You want to make sure you have all 3 of those covered. Behaviors, your mannerisms, right? What are you doing with your hands? What are you doing with your eye contact or lack thereof? Do you shift? Do you pull your hair? Sometimes we all have some kind of nervous tick or a tell, right? If you were at the poker table, right? Oh, there it tells. She over there rubbing her knuckles, right? Like, there's something that you do, and you want to be more keenly aware of how your body actions are supporting someone to listen to you versus distracting them and deterring them and making them want to pay attention to somebody else.
Yes.
And the communication goes without saying. I mean, I can't stress enough. This is for everyone, but in particular, if you're really focused and keen on building your brand, like, your verbal and written communication skills must be on point. Like, and those are things that can be learned. Take the Toastmasters class. Hire the public speaking coach. I hired a public speaking coach. She's phenomenal. Like, invest, because you will be called upon. Someone is going to ask you, what are the 3 words you describe yourself? How would you describe a personal brand? Wait a minute. I don't even know. You ain't even talking. Next. Right? Like,
yes.
You want to practice these things and invest in getting strong in those spaces. And then, of course, lastly, your digital presence, right? Everyone is going to be Googled. You are going to be Googled. What are the images that are going to come up when someone Googles your name? What are the sound bites? What are the social media pages? Like, Google yourself now. What is coming up, right? And if you're really keen on building a presence online so that people can go there and get a flavor of you, which they are going to do, what is the flavor going to be? Right? If you more spicy and they going over there and it's just like stale boiled chicken, like, girl, like, what are we doing?
I'm like Larry's.
Right? I need some seasoning.
When you're the digital presence piece, it's really what attracted me to you. And I'll just tell you that you inspired me to do something that I think about this all the time. Like, again, that branding is my life.
Yeah.
But I was like, you did something with headshots, people's before and after. And I was like,
yeah.
ooh. And because I had just done a podcast about like pictures, my Paula's rules for photos.
Oh, I love it.
And I thought to myself, I want to show the evolution of my headshots. And so it hasn't come out yet. It's teaser, spoiler alert, coming. But I'm doing like this is how my headshot has gone over the whatever decade and a half that I have been on LinkedIn, to be able to say like, look, it's okay to shift and change and grow. And if you're not iterating, then you're standing still, and I refuse. So yes, I want to thank you for that inspiration. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this.
I love that. Oh, I'm so here for that. I'm gonna tag you.
I'm gonna tell you.
Tag me. Yeah, tag me. Tag me so I can make sure I see it and comment. I love that so much.
What are some pieces of advice or a piece of advice that you would give for someone who's right now thinking, what's one or two things that I can do right now to build my brand?
One, don't overthink. Don't overthink. And then two, be active. And so I would tell you to just assess where you are and where you want to be. Yeah. I would tell you to assess where you are versus where you want to be.
Yes.
And, I love little homework things. So I would say, as you think about those ABCDs around your image, just do a red, yellow, green assessment for yourself.
Okay, what's that?
So think about your appearance. Think about your wardrobe, your clothes, your accessories, your beauty, how you're showing up currently. And does that fully align with what your brand is or what your brand is growing into? If it aligns and it's on point, green, baby, green. If you're like, I'm doing pretty good, but like, I definitely could elevate a few things, yellow. If you're operating on the wardrobe for a decade ago, siren red, right?
Not siren.
Siren red.
Fashion emergency.
Fashion emergency. It's an emergency, right? And do the same thing for your behavior, your communication, your digital presence. And that can at least give you just a quick baseline to say like, yeah, you know what? I do need to overhaul my social media. I do need to like get some pictures. So, okay, if I need to get some pictures, let me go ahead and get my wardrobe together first so that I make sure I have some things that I know I can work with when I get these pictures taken. Right? Like it'll give you a bit of a baseline to think about, and then you can have a direction to take action.
I'm a big fan because the first piece of personal branding is self-assessment. You gotta know where you're currently at in order to figure out where you're going to go. And for those of you who remember when I did my podcast about the photos, I literally was like, now you know that your photos are terrible or whatever. And now I'm going to give you a skill. And I put my favorite photographer in I was like, here's the information. There's no reason for you to you're choosing. But again, everybody knows that I want you to take every experience that you have with me and with my guests to be able to say, now I can take that and go and do something and incorporate it. And so I love that, the stoplights of style. Oh, I just made that up.
Stoplights of style. I caught it.
Take that. I'm giving that one to you.
That was good, girl.
So tell me this. What do you do for fun?
Laugh. Yeah, I'm a big laugher. I'm a big like friends, like get together, like hang out in the backyard, little barbecue.
Yeah.
I love food, especially in New York. I'm a big like what's happening. I don't know if I will say I'm a foodie, but I do love a good meal. So I'm like, okay, new spot. Black owned. I want to check it out. I want to go there. So I hang out with my husband a lot. It's my homie. That's my friend, and we will do that. And then and people watch. Like I love a good I love a good people watching situation.
Well, you're in Brooklyn, so am I.
Yep.
We have
yes.
so much to watch. So much to watch in Brooklyn. So much.
So much. So much.
There's so much. We could probably do a part 2 on don't one. But anywho,
that would have to be from the streets. That would be. So we are on location.
Tell us what you were thinking. So I asked my guests, everyone on my podcast, 2 of the same questions, which is one is this. What is one aspect about your personal brand that you will never, ever compromise on?
Being Black.
I mean, number one, well, I was going to say you can't compromise. I was like, no, people can. So let's, yeah. I love that. I say my intersections, I live nicely in my intersection. So I love that. I love that. And it's a part. And when you started talking about being a child of immigrants, my family's from the Caribbean. I felt that same thing too, sort of understanding the different flavor of our Blackness and how it shows up definitely resonates. All right. I think I know what you're going to say, but let me just see. So the other thing is my podcast is called Branding Room Only because it's a play on standing room only because I'm clever. So what is your magic? What is that experience of Naana that people are going to only be able to have standing room in a place to experience about you?
Yeah, for sure. It's the style.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of
I mean,
I love how you said it. You're like, it's the style.
Like, let's know what it is. Yeah, you gonna come for
that was perfection. I love that.
For it. and you're gonna get it and be happy. You're gonna be like, this was worth the price of admission.
There is no time when somebody's joy shines that we don't get some joy from it too. I just feel like as a human condition is that when other people access their thing, and that's what you give to people all the time. Like, here's your thing. Yes. So you're bringing joy. And so how can people stay in touch with you and find out about
oh my gosh. You got to watch. I want people to watch so they can see what Paula did with her hands. Oh my God.
Spirit fingers,
right? Spirit fingers. Oh my gosh, so good. But definitely come connect with me on LinkedIn. Drop me a DM. Let me know that you was hanging out with Paula and I today. When you catch it, whenever you listen or watch, would love to connect, learn more about you.
Fabulous. So my friends always tell me that they always go from listening to going to watch to see what my face was doing during something. So if you were listening, you need to first of all come onto the video, go onto YouTube so you can see us in action. Just number one, the outfit's on fire. So there's that. Naana, thank you so much for spending some time with me and my peoples in the branding room. And whenever you want to come back, you have an open invitation to talk about whatever you want to talk about when you come back to the branding room. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Paula. This was so fun.
Yes.